Hi everyone, and welcome back to Red Sand Rising. I am your GM for this adventure, Charlie, and with me are my fantastic players. Players, say hi.
Hello there, my name is Elias and I'm as always playing Giovanni, the local gardener, beauty influencer and kineticist dwarf.
Hi, I'm Faye and I'm gonna be playing Sappho, a pink-haired bard.
Hello, my name is Peter. I will be playing the mushroom leshy Tipplers Bane.
Hello, I'm Sylvia, and as always I will be playing our local wizard Jiji.
And we are back actually after a night's rest, a well-deserved night's rest, where our party went each to their own to get some night's sleep before they reconvene at Sappho's place at the tavern. Last we left off, our Sandpoint adventurers learned some information about the newfound chamber they were in, the Hellstorm Focus. Mainly, our group learned of a lead to someone that might give them some more information, Brodert Quink. Feeling already tired, the party started leaving the catacombs, but not before spotting a presence in a nearby door, where they absolutely demolished a living statue meant to guard its room. The party left one door untouched, the stone door with the place for a special bead. But before they went away from the catacombs, they bid farewell to Zodak, who left into the deeper tunnel, as they also closed the opening to the tunnel, completely shut. Now, after a long night's rest, where our party took some time for themselves and did some identification on their way, the party opens their day after a good breakfast, knocking on Brodert Quink's door. And you hear from inside a soft voice, but also not soft in a pleasant soft, more soft in an old person soft. As you hear from inside, "Coming!" And you hear tippy-taps of fast walking, running towards the door. You hear a movement of some item or maybe a desk that's just a bit behind the door as they open a door cracking. In front of you, you see Brodert Quink, an elder person, an elder human, already almost bald, only with a stripe of hair in the back of their neck, and a thick, bushy beard and mustache, with small glasses without any side to hold them except for their nose, looking at you with a kind smile, especially at Sappho, because they are quite familiar by this time.
"Oh, how can I help you this morning?"
Good morning, Brodert. Maybe we step in. We've found some very interesting things about some Thessalonian ruins, and we might need your expertise in them. I've made a lot of sketches of it and all, but maybe you can make more sense of it.
"Oh, that sounds exciting, isn't it? I can make tea. Please, come in."
And like tippy taps away from the door with their slippers kind of like doing the noise of as they go to towards their kitchen and put a kettle on.
Please, come in. Don't stay outside."
You go into a small house, but it doesn't feel small because it's mostly quite open spaced towards whoever's walking around. There's like a small couch there next to a wooden table with a candle on it and some flowers, and behind it a large bookshelf with many books on it from different sizes and different colors and also different times. You can see some of them are like definitely older and more used than the others, as they're asking you, "Please, there's a table in the kitchen." You can see a small table where you can all sit around to speak with him.
I guess as he's like busy preparing tea and we're like going into the house, I like whisper, not necessarily hiding it from him, but like discreetly asking Sappho, like, how do you like you're part of the rune scholars and such, right? How do you like handle new dungeons and such? Because I feel like this might be like big.
What do you mean? How to handle?
Like, is there like an announcement made to the other scholars, or like?
Not necessarily, and also, not all scholars are also adventurers. So, especially if we warn anyone about the dangers, they would be unlike to like venture in without protection. But I mean, there's definitely going to be people interested in also having a look, but only if it's actually very safe, if we've actually made sure there's nothing that can happen to them. And I think we still would need to make sure we find the deactivation for all of the traps and all that beforehand, because I mean, you have seen him, he's rather frail. I don't think he would be good at dodging, some of the traps that we found.
You start hearing the whistle of the kettle, whistling quite strong as you understand it. They're about done with making some tea as they come around with a couple of mugs, like small teacups, and a large teapot.
So, what have we here? I should remind you, though, as this is what I do for a living, the cost is still 5 silver piece for any advice.
Given the circumstance, I really want to say, how about we pay you in keeping the town safe and you from dying, but that's not really Tippler's style.
I mean, I'd rather say, how about it's a trade of information and we share what we found, because we're also revealing things to you that you might be interested in?
Seems a bit more reasonable, yeah.
They would respond to you with,
Well, my dear Jiji,
as far as I appreciate new information, as you all know, money is how we buy our bread, isn't it?
Oh, Giovanni just starts feeling bad for him. This guy just like needs the 5 silver so bad to like literally survive. So Giovanni just like takes like 2 gold out of his pocket and like subtly hands them to the guy so he can buy bread for the next few days.
That's quite overpriced.
I add, like, I feel like we'll be around a few more times, so,
Yeah, especially given our discovery. So
let's say it's an advance payment.
I accept that. You can write down off 2 gold pieces, and I'll write down that Brodert Quink have enough times for 2 gold pieces to keep coming for him.
Poor guy, man. He just needs to eat.
So 3 more times after this one.
Yes.
Perfect.
so, how can I help you?
Well, we found a ruin at the end of the city.
Interesting.
One that hadn't been explored before.
a Thessalonian one,
Ooh.
which you might have guessed.
And we should probably add that it's like from, well, it's likely that it's from before Earthfall.
Ooh.
Then I keep going up in tones the more information you say.
Fascinating.
And some of the rooms and things inside were quite well intact. It was sealed off from the cave
Oh.
by like some cave-ins, but the actual rooms were quite like well preserved, and
That is fascinating.
I guess we can start by asking, have you ever heard about the Hellstorm Flume?
Hellstorm Flume.
Let me think. And you seem like trying to like collect his mind. And at some point you see that he just gets up and starts looking at his books and like going over them.
Hellstorm Flume. Hellstorm.
It was at the time of Rune Lord Alasnest.
Ah.
Different time. Okay. And they move to a different section in the books as if like it's, you think by now it's categorized by time. Like what would be more relevant. Let's give them a little roll.
Well,
You see them like looking around. Hellstorm Flume, I believe, appeared, and he finds like a small, extremely old book, and he pulls it out. Ah, of course. Hellstorm Flume used to be something in our area. In fact, it was right in the lighthouse collapse right next to us. That was the name of the weapon there. No longer active, of course, but that was the name of the weapon.
Do you know anything more about it?
Well, I have been exploring and learning about Thessalonian most of my life. I can tell you that most of my books here, and whatever I can have in my mind together, will have more information. The Hellstorm Flume, as far as I remember, and they're like looking at their book. I recall, and he finds another page. Ah, of course! Hellstorm Flume was connected in a way to some other areas. They were probably not active anymore, these connections, but they used to be connected to some other rooms specifically, and they were activated from afar, I believe. Did you find one of those rooms, perhaps?
I mean, we think so, maybe. Wait, and Sappho just pulls out her notes where she had sketched all of like the room details onto it and hands it over to him.
Fascinating. These rooms are all jumbled, but they are quite informative. Yes, as far as I can tell you. And I will also gladly ask you to go to my library to see what else you can find. But as far as I can say, these rooms used to be working together, as in you could go to one of those chambers and connect to the other, either to use the weapon or to reach the weapon, if you know what I mean. They have multiple ways of being active. Although, as far as I can see, from the last time I've examined the lighthouse, the Hellstorm Flume is no longer active at all, meaning it's probably not something that is currently connected. But I would urge you, please, if you would mind, you can go over all of my library here and see if you find anything else that can help you. My library is yours. Effectively, we can have some more research subsystem roles here. Either from going over the library with academia lore or library lore, going to find some more arcanic book with arcana, or whatever else you would be talking with Brodert Quink with diplomacy. Any of those roles would be sufficient to get more research points and perhaps more information about Hellstorm Flume and Hellstorm Forcus.
No religion here?
Sadly, no religion here, but you can assist with religion, I would say.
Nah, I think diplomacy is probably enough. My diplomacy isn't too terrible. It's just one below my religion, so I think I'll just keep talking to him then.
And for helping, it would be the same ones?
For helping, it would be it would be just aid roll. So you can choose to roll aid to someone else, and it's a regular aid check. So 15 would be a success, 25 is a critical success, 5 is a critical failure. So you can choose to aid someone with a different skill, whichever you would choose. You can tell me what you want to choose, and I'll tell you if it would fit, to aid someone else in their roll, to give them a +1 or +2, and this would be open. The aid rolls are open. Yeah,
Giovanni just kind of got distracted during a conversation, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes into the conversation, he just started, like, absent-mindedly kind of just growing, like, a flower out of his boot, and then, like, a flower out of his other boot, and he missed kind of most of what was going on, so he has, like, no idea what he would be looking for right now, and is just scrambling to try to help in some way.
He's holding the books that Sappho pulls out of the bookshelf. So you're helping. What were you doing, Tipp?
I rolled diplomacy to continue talking with him.
Okay, then I'll just help as well.
That's a critical success for a society aid. And do let me know who you wanna give that roll for.
I would just make it smell really nice, so Brodert would like be more agreeable to the conversation.
So you're essentially trying to aid Tippler with your nature check.
Yeah.
So it would be Jiji will help Sappho.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. You spent some time talking to Brodert Quink. It's not as if they're hiding anything from you, but it seems like they need to refresh their mind and they like need to sit down a little more about what actually is the connection between the Hellstorm Flume and the Hellstorm Focus, which is the room that you found in the destroyed lighthouse. Some of you are also looking at the books a little bit just to see any mentioning over there. I can tell you that in amounts of points or research points, you had 3 before. At the moment, you have 5 research points, which is not yet new information, but you do have more research points at the moment. As with the on-site investigation, you need some change to happen to have more information and go back to Brodert Quink. Either an event needs to go by, any difference in your skills need to happen, or something else that I would tell you, you are now able to go back to get more information and try again to get more research point on this matter. So effectively, other than what you already have, nothing extremely new, but you are closer to the next cap.
So I guess I misunderstood that last time, as the research points are basically one system for like the whole game or like the whole campaign, because I thought the research points were tied to a location, as in we have a separate research for the room and a separate research for like something else.
Your research points are per subject of research. So at the moment, your research points for the Hellstorm Focus are at 5. You will still also have other things during this game where you can research about, and each of them have their own caps. You have different ways to get information about different things. So specifically for the Hellstorm Focus specifically, your research points are at 5. You will have other things in the continuing time of like different things you'll have research point to have research over and gather more information.
Okay.
And those caps go up, and they don't go up by one, they go up by different numbers. So the first one was 1, the second cap was 2, it was 3, at the moment you are at 5, you didn't reach the next cap. You spend some time with Brodert Quink, though it doesn't give you a lot more information from what you already know and have learned about the Hellstorm Focus. You do know that if something new would occur, either maybe something will reawaken in Brodert Quink, or they will find something to call you, or some more information you could gather information together, you might be able to come back at some point to reconvene and maybe learn some more.
I mean, there was one room we didn't explore, so maybe that could give us some more insights.
True.
Because it looked kind of important.
Yeah, let's head back and finish our investigation down there.
Yeah, but thank you very much, Brodert. That was quite helpful indeed.
Well, my library is yours, as you have already paid for the whole thing completely forward. So whenever you want to come over, just feel free to take my books and read them. Just put them back in the right correction of place, please, because it took me a long time to put them by date and to find what date it is to each book. But other than that, please.
If there's like other scholars who might want to explore the ruins, it might not be safe yet. But I guess we'll update you on that.
They kind of put their main finger on their lips and like,
my lips are sealed until you tell me otherwise. Our little secret.
Like, I guess I kind of just shrugged my shoulders as like, I kind of thought the scholars were like, kind of like a guild where they share information, but since he's like, it's more of a service from him.
He understood you of like, don't tell people to go there just yet because it's not safe.
Yeah,
that's at least what I understood. Yeah,
but I'm still like not sure of like how the scholars work as an organization.
Okay.
They're still rather new.
they're still rather new, and especially Sappho, who has some connection with them, would know that they convene with Brodert Quink every week in their house to like share information that is relevant for like more research. This is essentially them telling you, I will not let them know just yet because you said it's unsafe to go there. Because if they would know they can go there, they would, even if it's unsafe. So they're waiting for a cue from you to share that information.
Ah, I see. Yeah. I guess I intended to say of like, you can tell them, but tell them to not go yet and we'll update you. But it's, yeah, you're right that scholars will go there even if it's unsafe if they hear of something new. So
I bid you farewell. And if you ever want to come for tea. And then they look at Giovanni. Well, I guess you have a new kind of tea now. As will be interesting to try.
Oh, I would not recommend drinking those.
Oh,
if it's roses, there's rose tea.
Yeah, I mean, you can report back on the results.
I might try that. Research. And their eyes like open a little bit. Where do you go from Brodert Quink's place?
I mean, we did want to stop by at some point at the smithy because we found some striking runes, I believe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So you would know that the best place to go to, it's actually on your way back to the catacombs, is Sava's Armory. It's quite close to the cathedral itself. It's right a couple of minutes of walk on the main street from Brodert Quink's place.
Then that's where we go.
You make your way to Sava's Armory. As always, you can hear like a cling, cling of noise of hammer and anvil going on inside. And her door is open. You see her working. Most of you probably already know her. Sava Maveniki. She is a human, younger human. Her hair is always like with some braided rasta area hang up on the back. She is wearing her armor as always while she works. And you know that she is also quite handy with a sword. As most of you probably know, she is at least someone who used to be a guard, but now no longer. She takes her anvil her armory a little more seriously than her fighting times. Yeah, but you walk towards the armory. As you approach, you see that she's completely focused on her whatever she is working at the moment, which looks to be that she's working on a sword.
I would wait until there's a suitable moment to interrupt because I don't want her messing up the sword because I scare her or something.
Yeah, great. You hear a couple of more clings and then like she stops for a moment to like take some sweat off her brow.
And that's when I grab her attention. Hello? I wave at her and I was like,
oh, hi.
Would you by any chance have some time to upgrade some of our stuff for us?
That should not be a problem.
Hope you're not too busy right now because ideally we'd get it as quick as possible.
And she like puts her hammer and material on the side. Show me what you have.
I would pull out my hammer and invite Jiji over to show her weapon and the 2 striking runes.
My cold iron dagger?
Exactly. It's like, well, we have these 2 runes and, well, we'd like them inserted into our weapons.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Let's see. And she takes the dagger first and she kind of looks it around. Do you mind if I examine it for a moment?
Oh yeah, please, here.
She balances it on her hand just to see like what's the central area of the dagger, and she looks around it. Yeah, that should be taking me about half a day to do. It's quite a small weapon. It should be fine. What do you have? What's the other? And she looks at the other weapon that Tippler's showing.
Give her my warhammer.
Oh, that's a beautiful work. It's not mine, is it?
I don't believe so. No. It was given to me by the druids that summoned me here.
Ah, fantastic craftsmanship.
Well, they may have gotten it from you, but I wouldn't know.
Well, I make my signature extremely small, so it's not going to bother anyone, so that's not mine. Both of them together.
probably by tomorrow will be ready. Is that fine for you?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, just means that we should probably hold off on exploring whatever is behind that door. I kind of like lower my voice, not necessarily trying to hide it from her, but like turning to the rest of the group, and because it's more meant for them, that's why. And it's like, well, we probably need to wait with exploring what's behind the stone door. I wouldn't really want to go without my hammer.
Yeah, that does not seem ideal, to be honest.
I'd be fine a day without my dagger. But yeah, for you, I think it doesn't make sense.
GM, remind me again, how long is it until the full moon ritual?
You have a couple of days until the full moon ritual, so you know that even if you go tomorrow,
Okay.
it's still going to be a couple of more days until we have both the ritual itself, because the need is for a full moon, which are about 5-6 days from the full moon at the moment.
All right, okay.
Or like Sappho just chimes in, or we make an appointment for after we have explored the rest of the runes to get your things fixed.
Well, but
there's both of those ways.
Then it would be so much easier to explore the ruins if I have a better weapon. It's just safer, really. And the rune would make it a lot better.
The other rooms were fine. Do we really have to wait for it? I'm happy to leave my dagger here, and then after half a day you can bring in your hammer, which would already be paid for. But, you know, I assume I talked to Sava now, she wouldn't be working on both weapons at the same time anyway. So I could basically leave my dagger right here, and then we could later in the day bring in the hammer.
Yeah, that could be possible if that's something you prefer.
I propose basically to Tipp.
Sure, if you're in a hurry to explore more.
But we don't know what else is down there and if it might, endanger the rest of the town.
Sure, but that's why I also want to go prepared. But I guess, okay, so why don't we say we explore for another half a day, and if we're in a good spot to leave again, then we come back and hand in my hammer, and then we do the rest tomorrow. If there's even that much more to explore. I mean, it might just be one more room, and that's it.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, then why don't you start off? I turn back to Sava and I say, why don't you start off with the dagger, and then we'll hand in the hammer later in today? Does that work?
Sure. Would you like to pay before?
I turn to Jiji because it's her dagger.
Yeah, I'll be paying for the dagger.
I mean, if you're gonna pick it up in the end, you can pay before or after.
I mean, we can sort it out. We can sort it out after. Since we kind of have this ruin to explore, and we're kind of in a rush. So let's just get going.
Suddenly, Tipp wants to get going. All right, then I'll leave my dagger here.
Sure thing. Yep, that's essentially her collateral. She has your dagger, and she knows you want it. So for her, it's like, I'm not afraid of you running off. I got your dagger.
Yeah, I feel like the rune is the expensive piece here.
And the rune, yeah, true, exactly. I would assume, just to make sure, that you took a step away when you talked about endangering the town, because she doesn't mind you talking about ruins, because you are adventurers. Everyone knows that. But if you talk about the danger of the town next to her, that might actually pick up her interest.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't the one talking about it, but I assumed we shouldn't talk about this just yet with everyone. But basically assumed that we kept it low, and unless she's like intentionally trying to listen into our like private conversation, she wouldn't have picked it up.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she did, but I just made sure that it wasn't like right in front of her.
Yeah.
All right. So you leave the dagger and you leave the one of the striking runes at her place, and you directly make your way to the catacombs again?
Yep, that's the plan.
All right. You leave her be. She goes start to her work on the dagger, and you are back in the catacombs. You do know that the only room you saw that was closed was the one that you mentioned before, the one with the gem or the bead area. Please tell me what you're doing. What are your exploration activities that you do?
So I would already have both of my weapons out, and I would, as usual, be looking for danger.
So, searching or seeking? Or scouting?
I guess it depends a bit on what the others do, because usually Giovanni does some scouting as well, right?
Yeah, I'll just stick with scouting. Why not?
Then I'll be searching.
All right.
Searching is just perception, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd also be doing that. I want to specifically check the if the wall is still intact.
Oh, the one where you closed after Zodak? Yeah?
Exactly.
You can give me a perception roll for the door, for the tunnel that you made. It's perfectly intact. It's completely untouched. It doesn't even seem like, from where you're looking, you would actually see some marks if someone tried opening it from the other side, because it would be pushed out a little bit. Nothing. It's completely shut. It didn't get any weaker at all.
All right, then let's get going. And I assume I'll be lighting up the place for Sappho again.
Yes, because it is quite dark in here, and I can see when it's slightly dark, but not in this complete and utter darkness.
And then we make our way to the door with the beads.
Yeah?
And I ask Jiji to give the beads to me so I can open the door.
There is just one inland on the door, right?
There's just one hole in the door, yes.
So we have, I think, 6 beads in total? Do you want the expensive one or the cheap ones? Do you think the door reacts to how fine the gem is?
I think we should go with a special.
Didn't we have one specific one that was
They're all the same, I thought. It's just the quality of the cut is basically some are a bit higher quality gem.
Yeah, exactly.
They're worth more if you would sell them. But in the end, they're all 6 garnet beads.
So I believe that whoever built this here wouldn't just go with any bead would fit. And I'm assuming we can of course try.
I mean, they're all cut the same.
But what if it breaks the door?
Well, a broken door is usually an open door.
I mean broken in a way that it's just blocked forever. Don't know what they've done here all. I mean, we know some traps here,
But if they don't all fit, why would they all be cut the same? They're literally fashioned to all fit in this thing.
To potentially, that people would take one of the wrong ones and maybe trigger some traps, or, maybe it has a teleportation behind it, and if we use one of the cheap ones, we get 100,000 monsters.
I kind of shrug my shoulders and be like, if you want to consume this 25 gold pieces, here, go ahead. And I hand over the fine quality one, the expensive one.
I mean, who says it is with the consume it?
It could be consumed.
I take it and just shrug, roll my eyes at this conversation and put in the bead into the door.
Did you check for traps or anything?
Oh, you are searching, so I'm rolling for you. At the moment, you don't see anything that is worrying for you. It's also Tipp and Jiji are both searching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which bead are you taking?
They wanted the highest quality one, so they get the highest quality one.
Thank you.
Yeah? You place the highest quality bead inside the placement of the door. And you hear a little click as the door seems to be no longer locked.
But I seem to remember that it didn't really have a handle or anything. Does it just slide open now, or...?
You believe you could just move it away, either inside or sideways, because it's no longer cracked in place.
Okay. Well, before I do that, I still want to give it a good listen before I open it and see if I can hear anything moving or any sign of, danger or any creature behind the door.
Then you can give me an active perception roll in addition to what you rolled for the search. What was Sappho doing for her exploration activity, just to make sure I remember?
Sappho has not done anything because she knows everyone around her is so much better at it, but she would potentially just try to remind Tipp when he's listening or not, after he's open up, can you try pulling it out again and see what it does?
The bead.
The bead?
I mean, maybe we should open the door first. I feel like it.
Otherwise, you can put it in again.
Okay, I mean, again, like, I kind of nod and say, okay, I'll just take out the bead again.
You pull out the bead before doing anything with the door, and you hear another click, as if something... The bead as it's pressing on something, making weight to move something to make this door unlocked.
Well...
It's more of a key, so we can take it back later on.
And I put it back in, and did my listening, like, show up anything? Like, did I hear anything inside?
Listening to the other side of the door is complete silence.
Okay. Well, I put back the bead, and I open the door.
The door, the moment you come to touch the door slides down into the ground. I'm going to ask before you go into the room.
Mm-hmm.
You look at this room before you enter. It's a kind of square kind of chamber with some steps leading up into the room itself. And you can see from where you're standing on the front door, there are 2 other doors inside this room, both of them going towards the north of you in general, but just one of them is on the left side and one of them is on the right side. You can also see, as you're looking on this place, there is a carving of a 7-pointed star and a flame flickering in its center that is adorning the walls to the east and the west, while the north door stands, both of them in like dark red stone, in contrast to the gray stones walls that are everywhere in this chamber. What you also notice from standing before entering the room, that this room is... You look at those side of the stars in the east and the west of the flame inside of them, and you understand this is a deadly trap that if you step inside the room will be activated. You believe you can either try to trick the trap by somehow making it... somehow putting a bead inside one of the other doors inside in a fast enough manner, which would be thievery. It would be running inside and putting a bead to bypass the speed of the trap. Or you think you might be able to sneak up around in the room, to stealth in the room, to avoid activating the trap until you put a bead on the other door, either of them, whichever you choose, for example, and make the trap go on.
Well, since I'm the one looking into the room currently, I would kind of share this information or like point out what I saw immediately, and would then also suggest that I stealth ahead to one of the doors and try my luck with another bead.
Well, if you're sure you want to take the risk.
I'll be fine. And I have you to, get me back on my feet if something goes wrong.
I'm just worried about something blowing too big of a hole into you.
Wait, before you go in, Tipp. You don't, I could use my spells, no? I have telekinetic hand and such.
Oh wow, look at that. Pays off to have some smart people in the party, turns out.
I got ahead of myself there. I totally knew that, of course. So why don't you go ahead and I'll stand back.
I'll take a step to the center of the room because I didn't see it really from being behind the others a bit.
Yeah. From the center you can definitely see the markings as well.
I assume I could just pick up a bead with my telekinetic hand and insert it.
Yeah, beads are not very heavy. I'm also going to add, because you did clock the trap, I would like a Arcana or Occultism blind roll for some more information.
From anyone or from...
Well, Tipp has shared the information to all of you, so any one of you who can peek and look at the room, you can give me a roll.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Because Sappho will, Sappho can easily peek over every single one of her companions.
Yeah.
And we'll just lean over and we'll just look this fun way of somebody just falling into the half-open door just from the side.
Mm-hmm. Looking at it, Jiji, you come to 2 conclusions. Picking up the bead is not the issue here. Placing it correctly inside the door would still be a thievery check. I would say, since you're using your mage hand to do that, I can say you can roll Arcana instead as your thievery roll here. The second thing you figure out is the trigger for this trap. Any of you who would end your turn in this room would activate this.
Can we figure out from looking at it what would happen if it were to activate?
I'm gonna say yes. Looking at the sides of these like star marks with fire on them, you get the sense that if you slip up, as in like with every trap, critical fail for example, or finish your movement or finish your turn inside this room, it is going to fry you with fire.
That doesn't sound nice to be inside of.
No. Now, for the sake of this, I would also say you're not having any enemy in front of you, but for the sake of turn-based, I would ask for initiative rolls here.
I mean, I am using my telekinetic hand, so none of us technically stepping into the room.
Yeah. Not at the moment yet, but once we are stepping into the room, I'm going to ask for initiative, because if you end your turn in the room and you didn't deactivate the trap, it's still going to be relevant.
Mm-hmm. Should we roll before or after the check?
Once you enter the room. So if you're using your mage hand and it's still long enough to get there.
Yeah, it's 20 feet. I just checked. It's 10 feet.
Yes. The distance between you and that is about 10 feet. It's not that much. Your mage hand can reach. So you could give me your Arcana roll before to see if you manage to put the bead inside.
Mm-hmm.
With 24 Arcana, you are succeeding in placing a bead. Which door are you placing it, the left or the right?
I guess I look at the party. It's like left or right?
Left.
Right.
I go for the left door then. Tipp was faster.
Come on, man, we're a team. What the hell?
I'm just messing around.
You place a bead in the left door and you hear the same click that was in the door before it. You believe that with that, this room is disabled. You're done.
I'm scared to go in.
Now here I'm going to say, once you go in, we're still going to roll initiative because you're scared and for other reasons.
And for other reasons, doesn't sound reassuring at all.
Yeah, no. Other reasons by GM.
I don't remember saying I'm going to be a reassuring GM.
No, I mean, basically, Gigi would have said, I'm scared, and looked at anyone else, the more tanky people in our party to go first.
Yeah, Giovanni isn't scared. Giovanni will use an ocean spam on himself to get the basically fire resistance.
That's smart.
Since he would prefer not being fried if possible. And stride in there.
Yeah. So once you go inside the room, I'm going to ask for the initiative rolls. Jiji, since you're using your mage hand, you can use Arcana. Otherwise, it's going to be Perception because you weren't doing anything specific with this occasion.
Pow. 28.
Do we get the scouting bonus to initiative?
Yeah, let's do that. We can add the scouting bonus for your initiative.
Then 29.
Your initiative is relevant only to whoever you're facing or whatever you're facing. So I would essentially just remove one from theirs to put them in correct position.
So we are facing something, huh?
Well, you're facing a trap. This is not a specifically complicated trap. Some traps are complicated and actually roll initiative actively. The only reason we're rolling initiative here is because their trigger, or the trigger for this trap that you figured out, is when you end your turn in the room. So all of you going in, and if in case you didn't fully succeed to disable the trap, it might still work when someone ends their turn in the room. So that's the relevance here.
So then we just try and open the door and rush through as quickly as possible, or do we just see if Giovanni gets fried?
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for either Giovanni or Tipp to basically step in, see if anything happens, potentially open the door. I wouldn't step in unless the next door is open, because there's no reason to.
Since Giovanni is the one starting because they're walking in, it's up to their turn to be done between who is moving where. So Giovanni, you're the one who is now actively moving.
Alright, then first action will be just to step up to the open door.
Mm-hmm.
Or the unlocked door and open it.
Yeah, you unlock the door. The door was only unlocked with the bead. You open the door to see an extremely similar room to the one that you are currently in. On the side of this room, you can see the same 7-pointed star shimmering on it, though in the center of it, unlike the flickering flame that you saw before, in the center of this is a mark that looks like a snowflake, shimmering.
Okay, I'll tell that everyone that there's another room just like this one, but one of the doors has a different mark. Maybe just see if this trap is actually disabled before you come. And then, like, last action will be just to, like, take one step to the right by staying inside the room. And that's my turn.
At the end of your turn, the trap does not activate. Gigi, that's you. You can still choose to delay in these situations.
It's just more of like, how does talking between us work? Because I'd asked Giovanni for like more like, is there another 2 doors in the next room, or like, would the right room lead to the same room? Like, the right door, is that connected to the same room? Like, could you look around the corner?
No, I didn't look around the corner.
In the next room, there are 3 doors. All of them towards the north.
Oh, the next room, there's 3 doors?
Yes.
There's more doors. Is there wrong doors that we could take? I guess I will, like, either it's an action or like trying to figure out if there's a difference between the 2 doors we just like saw in the first room or the next room. Mm-hmm. I guess if I wanna, like, I could step here as that would be one action, right?
Yeah.
And then either however long it takes to figure out if there's a difference between the doors.
That is just going to be one action perception. It's going to be a seek, essentially. I did not ask, which was important actually, what bead did you put in these doors?
We didn't specify. I suppose the next, like, expensive one.
The next in value, yeah.
Yeah.
We just keep going down in value.
Perfect. You look over to see the 3 doors and if there's any difference in how they look. You do see a slight difference. The 2 doors, the left door and the center door, seems to be the same, though the right door seems to be just a little smaller with the bead entrance it has. And when you look at the door that you already, like the one you already used here, you see that it's quite similar in size to the ones that you already used.
So the small one is the one that looks like the ones we already activated.
Yes.
So we just got lucky and picked the correct door the first time?
Honestly, I should have asked before, but yes.
I mean, you asked us which door and Tipp just said left, so I just took left. We as party didn't spend longer thinking about it. I'm saying that to the party, not to you as GM.
Nah. I saw that before.
It's your adventurous intuition, right?
Yeah, the Tippler senses were tingling.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, but like, I mean, like, anyone else, like, feel free to check the doors out. But from what I can see, I think the right one is the one that looks like it should be the correct one. And I guess with that, I would, for now, end my turn and like have the others. Wait, actually, I'm gonna step back out of the room because I still have 1 action left.
Yeah. So after Gigi is going to be Tippler.
I would walk back up to the door and also have a look inside just to get a picture for myself.
You can give me a perception roll, please.
And then, yeah, see if I spot anything that hasn't been mentioned, or if I also confirm what has been mentioned.
Well, you both confirm what has been mentioned, but you also look and it clicks to you. This is also a trapped room, probably with the same kind of mechanism, but if the one here that you figured out would fry you, if these markings here have snowflake markings, it's gonna freeze you.
So we just skip the turns through until it's GG again and we cast another telekinetic hand?
I guess so.
Unless anyone wants to do something specific with their turn. I would propose that to the party of like, so I'll just try to place the bead from safety again?
Can I quickly, before I end my turn, can I, with the perception roll, can I also figure out what triggered the trap? Is it anything entering the room or something touching the floor? Or is there, like, what's the trigger?
With your roll, I would say it's the same one as here. If you end your turn in the room, like essentially, if you spend enough time in the room, which in mechanic-wise, you end your turn in the room, it will be activated.
Okay.
And we assume it's scanning for like living things, or would an inanimate object in the room also trigger it?
You believe it's a creature.
Okay.
That is living.
Okay. Then, I mean, I would quickly like look around the corner as well into the room without staying in the room or even stepping into it, just to see that, like, okay, I made sure that I do see everything and really scan the entire room. And then, yeah, that would be my turn.
I guess the only thing we haven't really checked is like if we have any clue what would happen if we were to pick the wrong door.
It would probably trigger another trap or the same one that we're in or something, right? Like, given that this is all trapped. I would make space for Jiji, however, before I end my turn to take my spot and end my turn here then.
Does Sappho do anything in her turn?
Sappho will take a step in because she has not actually fully. She just would have also just peeked in to even see what it is, but assuming it's safer with the beads, with the mage hand, just step back.
Yep. Going back to Giovanni, are you doing anything?
No, I'll just delay my turn.
Okay. Going back then to Jiji.
Since you all now are like on the map in the first trapped room, I just want to check if that's intentional. Like if I trigger by accident like the next room's trap, it might also activate the first room's trap. Just putting that out there.
We'll be fine.
Who knows?
If you all heard the risk, you all take the risk, then
I mean, they can't really do anything about it by now, but yes.
I'm fine to wait another turn, basically. Like, there's nothing, like, there's no enemy or something, you know?
True.
We don't know.
True, we don't know. But, I mean, we could all just delay a turn. Like, if Sappho, like, or someone wants to step out, basically.
I mean, it's also, if we see where it is, I can also try to just, since the spell seems to, like, as this trap seems to be magical, to dispel it.
I would say with your knowledge, it's not a magical trap, it's a mechanical trap. That's why it's thievery or stealth, and specifically Arcana because she's using Mage Hand, but otherwise it would be to activate the mechanism of disable, or hiding your presence.
I still have, I think, a bead of, like, medium value.
You do.
So I guess I used that one with another Mage Hand cast.
For which door?
The right one, the small one that looked like the other doors that we already opened.
Yeah. Your Mage Hand can definitely reach. Give me another Arcana roll to put it in place.
Alright. That's not so great. I might hero point this.
Sure, you do have them.
Let's not all fry ourselves here.
Good idea.
That's still average, but a bit better. So for a total of 19 now.
With a 19, you reach towards the door and you can't push it in. You're not critically failing, so you don't drop the bead, but you can't seem to put it in place. Doing that is an action. You still have one action in your turn.
I actually don't, because the spell is 2 actions.
Ooh.
It's a cantrip.
Though you're sustaining it, so it's one action.
I mean, can I just retry?
Yeah.
Or is there like a penalty to trying more?
With traps, not really, no. But you're still unable to place it in this turn.
For 22?
With a 22.
Difficult.
It is difficult. You rolled very high in the first time. That is Gigi's turn. Do you all skip your turn until Gigi's next turn, or do you do anything?
I'll skip Gigi, we'll get them next time.
You still have other things.
Can I help in any way?
You can aid. You can help her in her role. So, since she is using Arcana instead of thievery, I would say anything that's more thievery based would be relevant. I would also say perception would be helpful here as well, like trying to aim it a little better.
Yep, that's what I would do.
I think Sappho's the only one with anything in thievery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have +2, so I'm not good. But my perception is pretty good, so I would use that.
Yeah, so your perception will be an open roll to aid Gigi in her turn. Is anyone else doing anything else, or are we just jumping back to Gigi?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. You may try again. With Tipp trying to aid, it was not a success nor a critical fail, so you don't get a plus.
Alright. Hey, slowly. Wait, it's the same roll.
It's the same roll. 22 is still not a success, but not a critical failure. It's not activating the trap.
I feel like we're just either like hoping for like a higher roll or like a big fail at some point.
Can no one else aid as like alongside?
Can someone aid the second try?
You can all aid and it will essentially get the higher one between them. Or the critical fail, depending on your rolls.
You don't stack 8, right?
No, they're both circumstance.
But then if you have a second try, then someone else should aid.
Because I get 3 actions, right? You said it's 1 action to sustain and 1 action to try, and I have...
Yes.
Since I'm not moving this turn.
3 actions a turn to try to open or put the bead in the right place. So you can roll 2 more times to see where it goes.
So any pluses, of course, appreciated if anyone wants to help.
It's more of a, like, with... Because if the only choices are thievery or perception...
I don't know, Giovanni can steady the mage hand with like water magic or something, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I would.
I don't think that works.
A rose smell. Calm Gigi's senses with roses.
It sounds perfect.
To help with focus.
I'm gonna try to do exactly that.
It fits very much to Giovanni, I think.
Alright, and I'll roll nature to 8.
Sure.
Ooh, that's 26, so that's a critical success. Gives Gigi a +2.
So Gigi's roll is going to be a 28. You hear a clink as you place the bead inside the door.
And no traps activates?
Yes.
Okay, sounds promising.
And that's my actions, but I basically just gesture of like, feel free to explore.
Who goes in, if at all? Giovanni, what do you do?
Yeah, time to get in there and open up the next door.
You go all the way in, and you open the door?
Yep.
You open a door to a third room with steps, though this one is a bit different than the others. This north side of the room, the wall is curved in like a semicircle, and there's a single red stone statue of an angry woman holding a ransomware stand to the north. Her weapon is held in one hand, pointed towards the southern door, while her other hand is reaching out with a coupled palm, as if it's expecting a gift. And it seems like the weapon that she is holding, the ransomware, it's an actual weapon, not part of the statue itself. To the side of these walls, similar to the other rooms, you see the same 7-sided star, with what seems to be like a drop of blood, but with the color of green.
Oh, poison?
Probably.
I mean, so far only Giovanni sees it.
I kind of feel like we made a big mistake here using the most expensive one first.
Same. So we go back and try again in the other order?
Can we even close the doors again? Because they vanished in the floor.
Oh, right.
They vanished in the floor when you opened them, yes.
The gems are gone.
Yeah.
Or like, at least as far as we know.
Well, either way, this room seems safe for starters, but there's some weird statue that wants something from us in the next one. And that's the end of my turn for now.
After Giovanni would be Tippler. What do you do?
I walk into the now hopefully deactivated room and have a look into the new room that we just opened to see if I spot anything more beyond that, and specifically about the statue, because you mentioned that the weapon doesn't seem to be part of the statue, which gives me the idea that if we give this statue something that it doesn't like, it might just come alive and try and attack us. Given that we just fought a statue, it seems perfectly plausible to Tippler's Bane. So, would I be able to remove the weapon?
Oh, interesting. You believe it will be a sleight of hand to try to take it out, or athletics to try to pull it out, but possible.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I'm also gonna say, just for like player or character knowledge, the doors have slid down, but they're not fully down. You believe they might be able to go back up if needed.
Oh.
How would we, or like, do we have any idea how we could trigger that going back up?
Going down would be just touching them, So it might just be touching them again, and they go up, or try to pull them out.
Well, I mean, what do we have that... Oh, I mean, actually, can I recall knowledge on the statue to see if this is anything of any one of significance?
Absolutely. Please give me a blind society roll.
Oh, wow, society. In that case, I would ask someone in the party who has a better society than +0 to if they know anything about the statue.
I would totally on my turn once
Yes.
seeing the statue.
In that case, then I would make space for someone. And, well, I've seen the weapon, and I will keep in the back of my head that is a possibility, just in case. And then I end my turn.
Okay, Sappho?
I have not seen what anyone else potentially has seen, so I'll need to move in anyway. That is my one action, because I have actually 30 feet of movement, which I know not everyone in Pathfinder has.
Yeah, so you're going all the way inside the room.
Yes. And
yeah.
I would...
You can give me a society roll.
Yes, I will.
You are looking at this statue and you have no recollection of who this might be.
Anything else you want to do with your last action?
I'm just moving out.
Following Sappho would be Jiji.
There's no more doors in the last room, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, since Tipp mentioned it, I'd also try to recall, like, of whom that statue may be.
Yeah.
Which was society, right?
Yes. You look at the statue and you do recall who is it supposed to be. This is a statue depicting Rune Lord Alasnist, the ruler of the lands of the West, or of what is now the western coast of Varisia in the pre-Earthfall era. You know that this Rune Lord specifically was known to be a very strong person and a very harsh person, which would fit probably with whatever this chamber is.
Do we know anything about him other than being a rune lord?
Her.
It's a woman, no?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I mean, it's funny because I'm the last to step in the room. I'm like, wait, this is a Rune Lord? I say to the party.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
Well, because I didn't know.
This looks like Rune Lord. What's her name?
Alasnist.
Alasnist.
Alasnist. Not many information. That might be something you'll be able to dig up later. But definitely one of the names you've already heard here or seen here, because you've encountered both the name of Runelord Kreutzog that was on the map. And you also know that on the map there was mentionings in general to other rune lords as well.
Well, Gigi, do you know what rune lords usually like?
They were rulers, so valuables, land, I don't know.
Seems like we left some valuables in the doors now.
Yeah. I mean, we could try to ask Brodert.
Do we have any beads left?
We do have 3 beads left, but they're the, like, 1 is the medium quality and 2 is the, like, lowest quality. So in total they'd be 20 gold pieces.
That's fair. I mean, we can just...
The others, the 3 that are in the door right now, would be in total 45 gold pieces.
I can also throw like a bouquet of flowers on top, perhaps.
That's a good idea.
What do you think, Sappho? I mean, you mentioned the Rune Lord's name back in Brodert's house. Do you know anything more about them?
I probably should. I mean, Sappho would try to think, like, now that she has mentioned her name, of what else she recalls.
You probably just read the names in books, but it didn't have illustrations, so you didn't recognize the statue.
Yeah, I've read a lot of poetry around.
Yeah, and poetry doesn't have illustrations with it, so...
Since we are in initiative-based, it will be pair turns.
I'm happy to just move back and discuss with the party first. Of like, anyone who wants to recall anything, anyone who wants to like try closing the doors, and basically moving back until we have a concrete plan of action.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't have much to add to it right now. And
Are we skipping Giovanni's turn?
yeah, I think it's time to come up with a plan together.
That's gonna be great, because after Giovanni's turn, you hear a shift of movement from the third room in the north, which is where I was planning on ending our session today.
Should have taken the damn weapon.
Oh, no. Yeah, exactly.
So yes, stuff are moving at the same time that you are.
Well, we'll see what it is next time.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
It's just run away from our problems and...
Slightly unsettling.
Run away from the problems is the solution for everything.
Exactly, absolutely.
But yeah, we're gonna have to end our session here and figure out how this is going to work next time we play. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
We'll see you all next
Thank
time.
you for the great session.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
everyone.
See you then.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Red Sun Rising is made by Of Dice and Dinner, produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. Red Sun Rising uses trademarks and or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's fan content policy at paizo.com/licenses/fan content. Red Sun Rising is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. Original characters and content are the property of Dice and Dinner. Our podcast intro-outro theme is made by Frieda, Melando, and Shachar Bieber. Of Dice and Dinner is happy to be in touch, and our email is the best way to do so. That's ofdiceanddinnerpodcast@gmail.com.